the types of preference shares. Which share company is going to issue, company mentions on the share document. Now first one is on the basis of dividend. Preference shares are of two types: cumulative preference share, non-cumulative preference share. What is meant by cumulative preference share? If dividend is not paid in a particular year due to loss or inadequate profits, it will be accumulated and carried forward to successive years. Let us see the meaning of this sentence with one example. In 2011 year, ABC Limited issued 10,000 cumulative preference shares at the rate of 100 rupees each. Here this is a 10% is dividend percentage. Then 10,000 shares at the rate of 100 rupee, it becomes 10 lakh rupees. So 10 lakh rupee is the face value of these shares. Now annual dividend is 10 lakh rupees into dividend percentage, that is 10% is equal to 1 lakh rupees. So every year company pays 1 lakh rupees dividend to cumulative preference shareholders. In 2011 to 12 and 13, company earned profits and company paid annual dividends, that is 1 lakh rupees to preference shareholders. But come to 2014. In 2014 there is some loss. So company is not in a position to pay the dividend. Due to loss or due to inadequate profits, if company cannot pay dividend to cumulative preference shareholders, then what company does? See here, it will be accumulated and carried forward to successive years. Carried forward means what? Dividend payment will be postponed. Successive years, nothing but coming years. For 2014, coming year is 2015. So 2014 dividend 1 lakh rupee. Company carried forward to 2015. Okay. Suppose in 2015 company got profit. Then in 2015 company has to pay 1 lakh rupee dividend. No, that dividend plus previous year dividend 1 lakh. Total 2 lakh will be paid in 2015. But in our example, in 2015 also there is some loss. Now these two amounts, 1 lakh plus 1 lakh, 2 lakh rupee is known as dividend arrears. So this dividend arrear amount is accumulated. Accumulating means what? Combining. Now company combines these two arrear amounts, then total becomes 2 lakh rupees and the company carried forward that amount to next year. Now for 2015 year, successive year is what? 2016. So the dividend arrears of 14 and 15 are postponed to 2016. Assume in 2016 there is some profit. Company has enough profit to clear all these dividend arrears. In this case, as this is cumulative preference share, this previous year dividend arrears are paid in 2016. So in 2016, how much dividend these people get? 2014 arrears 1 lakh, 2015 arrears 1 lakh plus the dividend which is to be paid in 2016, that is 1 lakh rupees. Total 3 lakh rupee will be paid to cumulative preference shares. In 2014 and 15, as company is liable to shareholders, company shows these amounts as a contingent liabilities in company's balance sheet. Regarding cumulative preference share, let us see another example also. See this problem. The authorized capital of CAS Limited consists of both cumulative preference shares and equity shares. Each 5% cumulative preference share has a par value 100 rupees. Each equity share has a par value 10 rupees. During the year 2006, 1st April to 31st March 2007, the cumulative preference share capital balance was 4 lakh rupees and the equity share capital balance was 10 lakh rupees. If dividend declarations total 16,000 and 30,000 in the year 2005-6 and 6-7 respectively, the dividend allocated to equity shareholders in the year 2006 and 7 is how much? This is the problem. First, let us understand this question. The authorized capital, the capital which is mentioned in capital clause of MOA, that is called authorized capital of CAS Limited. As limited word is added, this is one public limited company. Consists of both the cumulative preference shares, equity shares. So, company issued cumulative preference shares and equity shares to collect capital. Each 5% cumulative preference share has a par value 100 rupees. You know, to cumulative preference shares, company pays fixed dividend now, that the dividend percentage is 5. How many shares are issued? Not given in the question, but one share face value is 100 rupees. Each equity share has a par value 10 rupees. For equity share, dividend percentage is not given in the question. Why you know? Because preference share dividend is prefixed, but equity share dividend depends on the profitability. Every year based on the profit, company decides how much percentage of dividend it has to pay. So, equity shares, how many are issued? Not available in the question. But one share face value is 10 rupees. During the year 6-7, the cumulative preference share capital balance was 4 lakh rupees. Number is not given, but total nominal value of cumulative preference share is available to us, that is 4 lakh. And the equity share capital balance was 10 lakh. Equity shares nominal value is 10 lakh rupees. If dividend declarations total 16,000, 30,000 in the year 5-6, 6-7, in 2005-6 financial year, company declared a dividend of 16,000 rupees. In this 16,000 rupees, how much company paid to preference shareholder? How much is for equity shareholder? There is no information. And in 2006-7, the dividend declared by company is 30,000 rupees. In 30,000 also, how much is taken by preference shareholder and how much dividend is declared to equity shareholder? There is no proper information. And what is asking? Respectively, the dividend allocated to equity shareholder in the year 6 and 7 is how much? So in 2005 and 6, out of this 16,000 dividend, how much is paid to preference shareholder? How much is to equity shareholder? There is no information in the question. And in 2006 and 7, in this 30,000 also, some amount is paid to preference shareholder and some dividend belongs to equity shareholders. Now question is, in 2006 and 7, out of this 30,000, how much dividend is paid to equity shareholder? Okay, we have to calculate that point. Let us see. Preference shares, nominal value is 4 lakh rupee and dividend percentage is 5. So, annual dividend cumulative preference share. First we have to calculate 4 lakh rupee into dividend percentage 5, 20,000. So every year company has to pay 20,000 rupees dividend to cumulative preference shares. Here in 2005 and 6 company declared 16,000 dividend, and in 2005 and 6 to cumulative preference shareholders company has to pay 20,000. So there is no enough profit. In case of inadequate profit, what company does? The dividend arrears company carried forward to next year, no? So in 2005-6 year, company paid dividend to cumulative preference shareholders only. So this is 16,000 rupee belongs to preference shareholders. You know, to equity shareholders, after clearing the dividend of preference shareholders, remaining amount only company pays. And as there is no enough profit, no question of paying dividend to equity shareholders in 2005-6 year. So company declared 16,000, that 16,000 belongs to only preference shareholders. In 2005-6 to equity shareholders, company didn't pay any dividend. Then how much is the dividend arrear to cumulative preference share? 4,000 rupees, no? Per annum company has to pay 20,000, but available profit is only 16,000. So this 4,000 is known as dividend arrear. As this is cumulative preference share, this arrear amount is carried forward to next year. Then in 2006-7 year, company declared a dividend of 30,000, and in 2006-7 to cumulative preference share, annual dividend 20,000 company has to pay, no? So to cumulative preference shareholders, company paid annual dividend 20,000 and available profit is 30,000, and previous year dividend arrear is 4,000. Now this 4,000 we can clear in 2006 and 7. So to this 20,000 company adds dividend arrears also. Total becomes 24,000. So the dividend paid to cumulative preference shareholders in 2006 and 7 is 24,000. So from 30,000, if 24,000 is paid to preference shareholders, then to equity shareholders remaining amount company paid. That is 30,000 minus 24,000 is equal to 6,000 rupees. Clear? In this manner, company pays dividend to cumulative preference shareholders and equity shareholders. Now second one is non-cumulative preference share. Non-cumulative preference shares means what? If dividend is not paid in a particular year due to loss or inadequate profits, it will not be carried forward to successive year. Take the same example. In 2011, 12, 13, company got profits. For capital requirement, company issued non-cumulative preference shares to public. Say annual dividend is 1 lakh rupees on these shares. When there is a profit, company pays fixed dividend to them. But in case of loss, in 2014, there is some loss. So 2014 related dividend, company cannot pay, no? And that dividend will not be carried forward to next year. So shareholder has to sacrifice that amount. Similarly, in 2015 also, as there is a loss, shareholder doesn't get any dividend. In case of 2016, there is some profit. Only 2016 year dividend will be paid to them. So the dividends of 14 and 15 will not be paid in 16 year because this is non-cumulative preference share. If company's articles of association is silent, then preference shares are presumed as cumulative. Then next one is on the basis of recovery of capital, preference shares are of two types: redeemable preference shares, irredeemable preference shares. Let us see the first one. Redeemable preference shares. Redeeming means paying back. In case of redeemable preference shares, company repays the principal amount after a fixed period. Let us see this point with one example. ABC Limited issued 10,000 redeemable preference shares at the rate of 100 rupees each for 5 years on 1st January 2015. Dividend percentage is 10. As shares are issued for 5 years period, company mentions that on the share document. So from 1st January 2015 to 5 years, if you count, date becomes 1st January 2020. So on this day, these shares will get matured. For example, Govind is one shareholder. Company wants to sell 10,000 shares now. Govind purchased 1,000 shares. So how much Govind invested in this company? One share nominal value is 100 rupees. So 1,000 shares into 100 is equal to 1 lakh rupees. As dividend rate is 10%, every year Govind gets 10,000 rupees as dividend. So from 2015 to 2019, every year Govind gets 10,000 rupees as dividend. So total dividend becomes 50,000. So during this period, Govind is company's shareholder. Govind invested 1 lakh rupees in the company. No, this 1 lakh is known as principal amount. For this 5 years period, company utilizes this money for business purpose. When maturity date comes, company returns this 1 lakh rupees principal amount to Govind. Now from 2020 onwards, Govind is not our shareholder. There is no relationship between Govind and company. So this type of share is called redeemable preference share. Why company issues redeemable preference shares? What is the purpose behind that? Let us see. Purpose of issuing redeemable preference shares. First reason is when investors are hesitating to invest in equity shares. When company came to know about this, then company prefers to issue redeemable preference shares in the place of equity shares. For example, in 2011 year, ABC Limited issued equity shares for capital requirement, and one investor known as Govind invested 10 lakh rupees by purchasing equity shares. Equity share capital is permanent capital for the company. Means till the time of liquidation, company can retain this 10 lakh rupees with it. When company returns that amount to Govind only at the time of liquidation. Suppose Govind is not interested in putting his money for such a long period with the company. He doesn't want to block his money with the company for a long period. He wants to invest that money only for temporary period. In that case, he prefers to purchase redeemable preference shares. When company came to know that investors are conservative, they don't want to take risk. In that case, company issues redeemable preference shares in the place of equity shares. Second reason is when company require additional capital for temporary period. In that case also, company prefers to issue redeemable preference shares. Take one example. In 2011 year, ABC Limited issued equity shares to public worth 100 crore. So this amount is permanent capital to company now. When company is liquidated, then only company returns this 100 crore rupees to shareholders. And in 2017 year, company got one project. To undertake this project, company needs some additional capital. For example, company need 10 crore rupees to undertake this project. Company is expecting that from 6th year onwards, this project can generate sufficient profits. So for 5 years period, company need this 100 crore. In this case, in 2017, if company issues equity shares, it is a loss to company, because even though we need capital only for 5 years, when we issue equity shares, so it becomes a permanent burden to company. Till the time of liquidation, company has to pay dividend on this capital. Here, the best choice for company is issuing redeemable preference shares in 2017 year for 5 years period. There are some rules for redemption of preference shares. What are they? Let us see. Rules for redeeming preference shares. First rule is preference shares can be redeemed only if they are fully paid. First of all, you should know about two terms: fully paid shares, partly paid shares. For example, ABC Limited, a public limited company, on 1st May 2011, they issued 10% redeemable preference shares, 10,000 at the rate of 100 rupees each. So these are redeemable preference shares now. Company wants to redeem them after 3 years. So due date of these shares will become 1st May 2014. Then assume that total face value of these shares, that is 10,000 shares at the rate of 100 rupees, 10 lakh rupees, company sold to 220 investors, and these 220 members paid this total money to company at a time. When company collects total money from them, then company issues fully paid shares to these 220 investors. Now the shares held by these members are known as fully paid shares. Then what is meant by partly paid shares? Let us see. On 1st 5th 2011, company issued 10,000 shares at the rate of 100 rupees to public, and company wants to collect these 100 rupees on installment basis. In this case, first public has to apply for shares. Along with application, how much they have to pay, company informs that in company's prospectus. Say application money is 30 rupees. So at the rate of 30 rupees per share, when public apply for shares, company receives application money from them. Assume 220 investors applied for these shares. When company receives applications from investors based on the available shares and the number of shares applied for, company takes a decision for allotment. Suppose company allotted all these 10,000 shares to these 220 members. Then they have to pay second installment money to company. That amount is called allotment money. Say allotment money per share is 20 rupees. Company collected this allotment money on 5th June 2011. So out of 100 rupees, company collected 30 plus 20, 50 rupees. When company receives the second installment amount from them, now company has to issue share documents to these people. Company cannot issue fully paid shares to them because full amount not yet collected from them. So in the place of these shares, company issues partly paid shares to them. Now the remaining amount 50 rupees, according to the requirement of the company, company calls in the form of call money. For example, first call amount is 10 rupees. Second call amount per share is 20 rupees. Now the last call amount is known as final call. Assume company made final call on 3rd May 2012. When company collects this last installment amount, then these partly paid shares are converted into fully paid shares. So after converting them into fully paid shares only, company can redeem them. So redemption date is 1st May 2014. By that time, company collected complete amount from them now. Now on this date, company can redeem this 10,000 shares. Suppose there are some arrears, some shareholders not yet paid that amount. Then first company has to convert these partly paid shares into fully paid shares with some divisible profits. That is totally other topic, how to convert partly paid shares into fully paid shares. We cannot cover that topic in present video. After converting partly paid shares into fully paid shares only, company can redeem these shares. Now the doubt is, why company has to follow this rule? Why can't company redeem partly paid preference shares? The reason is to protect the security available to creditors. Means what? Let us see. For example, ABC Limited needs 100 crore rupee capital. So company collected 30 crore by taking loans from creditors. So to creditors, company has to pledge some property, 30 crore worth assets company has given to them as a security. Now for remaining amount 70 crore, on 1st May 2011, company issued redeemable preference shares for 3 years period. Now due date of these shares is 1st May 2014. Suppose on that day these shares are fully paid shares. Means what? By that date company collected full amount 70 crore from the shareholders. So as company collected full amount from them, company can redeem without disturbing the security of these creditors. Assume that by that day company is not able to collect full amount from the shareholders. Company collected only 60 crore. Shareholders paid 60 crores out of 70 crore. Now the outstanding amount is 10 crore. Suppose company redeemed these shares. So here company collected 60 crore from investors, but company is paying back 70 crore rupees to them. So the balance amount, the outstanding amount 10 crore, company has to adjust. How company adjusts that amount? For this 10 crore rupee, company may go for further loans, which adversely affects the security of these creditors. When company loans increase, existing creditors risk also increases. Because if creditors number is more, for their interest, for their principal amount, always there is some risk. Instead of depending on loans, assume that company adjusted these 10 crores by selling 10 crore worth assets. Then this is also one disadvantage to creditors, their security value is reduced. Therefore, to protect the security available to creditors, company has to follow this rule. Now let us see the second rule for redeeming preference share. Second rule is, company must ensure that its capital structure remains unaltered even after redemption of preference shares. For example, on 1st August 2010, a public limited company issued 10,000 redeemable preference shares of 100 rupees each, and redemption period is 3 years. So what is the due date of these shares? 1st August 2013. On that day, company is supposed to redeem these shares. Now, this date falls in which financial year? 2010-11. Dates are 1st April 2010 to 31st March 2011. So every year company prepares balance sheet at the end of the year. So on 31st March 2011, under liability side, company shows this preference share details. Under share capital head, company mentions that 10,000 preference shares at the rate of 100 rupees each company collected, and even company issued equity shares also. 1 lakh equity shares at the rate of 10 rupees each. So preference share capital is 10 lakh rupees and equity share capital is also 10 lakh rupees. Now total share capital is 20 lakh. This 20 lakh is known as capital structure. Suppose next year balance sheet company prepared. On this date also share capital of company remains same. 2013 year balance sheet also contains the same information, but come to 2014 year balance sheet. On that day preference shares are not there because redemption date of preference shares is falling before this date now. So on that day company is having only equity shares. There are no preference shares. But according to Companies Act, the rule is capital structure of the company should remain unaltered even after redemption of preference shares. Even though 10 lakh worth preference shares are redeemed on this day, when company prepares balance sheet after that date, then that balance sheet capital should not get changed. Then the doubt is, when preference shares are not there, how company can show that total capital is 20 lakh? For that there are 3 methods. So without changing the capital structure, if company wants to redeem the preference shares, company follows any one of 3 methods. What are they? Let us see. Company may issue preference shares or equity shares to redeem redeemable preference shares. In our example, company issued 10,000 redeemable preference shares at the rate of 100 rupees for 3 years period on 1st August 2010. When company has to redeem these shares? On 1st August 2013. So after redeeming these shares, when company prepares balance sheet on 31st March 2014, rule is capital structure should not get changed. But here redeemable preference shares are not there. So we have to replace redeemable preference shares with either preference shares or equity shares. Means to redeem these preference shares, company need 10 lakh rupees. No. For these 10 lakh rupees, before this date, company may issue preference shares or equity shares. For example, company issued 20,000 preference shares at the rate of 50 rupees each. Okay. In this case, what happens? On 31st March 2014, company has preference shares along with these equity shares. Now, new issue is 20,000 preference shares at the rate of 50 rupees each. Then it will become 10 lakh rupees. Even though these shares are redeemed, capital structure remains same. Suppose instead of issuing preference shares, company issued equity shares. Say before this date, company issued 10 lakh equity shares at the rate of 1 rupee each. Then on 31st March 2014, company shows its capital details in this form. Equity shares of 10 lakh at the rate of 1 rupee each. So 10 lakh equity shares at 1 rupee each, 1 lakh equity shares at 10 rupees each. Now total capital remains same, 20 lakh rupees. Thus to redeem these redeemable preference shares, company may go for fresh issue of preference shares or equity shares. And remember one more point, company should not take loans to redeem redeemable preference shares. Company has only two options to redeem these shares. It can depend on fresh issue of preference shares or equity shares. But company should not take any loans to redeem these preference shares. Why? For example, for these 10 lakh rupees, say company took 10 lakh rupees loan from bank or from financial institutions, or company issued 10 lakh worth debentures to public. Debentures also come under loan only, no? Why company should not take extra loans to redeem these preference shares? The reason is because it will reduce the amount of available security to the existing creditors. Already some creditors have given loan to company. For redeeming preference shares, if company takes extra loan, now for existing creditors it will become a problem. Their amount of security will get reduced. Without changing this capital structure, if company wants to redeem these preference shares, there is another method also. That is, now second method is, company may redeem preference shares out of divisible profits. Divisible profits are the profits which can be utilized for the payment of dividend to shareholders. If divisible profits are used by the company, then the rule is company should create a capital redemption reserve with that used amount. To redeem these preference shares on 1st August 2013, company need 10 lakh rupees amount. Now from divisible profits, company can use 10 lakh rupees. So as a 10 lakh worth divisible profits are utilized to redeem these preference shares, with that 10 lakh rupees, company should create a capital redemption reserve. Here is the divisible profits list. General reserve, reserve fund, dividend equalization fund, insurance fund, workmen's compensation fund, workmen's accident fund, credit balance of P&L account, capital profit realization in cash. So these divisible profits can be used to redeem preference shares. Now the third method to redeem preference shares is, company may redeem a part of preference share capital out of divisible profits and the balance out of fresh issue. In our example, company issued redeemable preference shares with a nominal value of 10 lakh rupees. Now to redeem these shares, company need 10 lakh rupees. So first method is, company may go for issuing equity shares or preference shares. Second option is, if company has a sufficient divisible profits, company can utilize that amount to redeem these preference shares. Now third method is combination of first two methods. Assume company has 8 lakh divisible profits. Company should create a capital redemption reserve with 8 lakh rupees, and the company can utilize this amount for redeeming these shares. Now out of 10 lakh, company is able to adjust 8 lakh from divisible profits. For remaining 2 lakh, company may go for issuing preference shares or equity shares to the public. This is first method, this is second method. Now here company is using these two methods to redeem these shares. Thus there are three methods to redeem preference shares. Now next one is what? Irredeemable preference shares. Means what? Let us see. Irredeemable preference shares means what? Company returns the principal amount only at the time of liquidation. Suppose company issued irredeemable preference shares for its capital requirements. Then company takes amount from investor and only at the time of liquidation company returns that principal amount to investor. So it is equivalent to equity shares. Like equity shares, this capital is also permanent capital for the company. But according to Companies Act 2013, company should not issue irredeemable preference shares. In our country, the maximum period of issuing preference shares is 20 years. Means what? Company can keep that preference share money with it only for 20 years period. It gives the meaning that company should not issue irredeemable preference shares. The next one is on the basis of convertibility. Preference shares are of two types: convertible preference shares, non-convertible preference shares. Let us see the first point. Convertible preference shares. Shareholder can convert his preference share into equity share any time after a predefined period. For example, company issued convertible preference shares on 15th April 2011 and the conversion period is after 7 years. So from this date, if we count 7 years, then date will be 15th April 2018. So up to this date, there is no option of converting preference share into equity share. But after this date, if preference shareholder wants to convert his shares into equity shares, he can convert. And convertible preference shares are again divided into two types: compulsory convertible preference share, voluntary convertible preference share. By seeing the names only, you can guess the meaning. In case of compulsory convertible preference share, the conversion is mandatory. After this date, compulsory shareholder has to convert his preference shares into equity shares. In case of voluntary convertible preference shares, it is on his choice. After this date, if he wants to continue as a preference shareholder, he need not to convert into equity. Otherwise, he can convert into equity share. Now, preference share can be converted into equity share, but vice versa is not possible. Means, once if a convertible preference share is converted into equity share, then after converting into equity share, if shareholder wants to convert this again into convertible preference share, it is not possible. Once his preference shares are converted into equity shares, then equity shareholder rules are applicable to him while taking the dividend, while getting the principal amount back, while exercising the voting rights. Equity shareholder rules are applicable to him. The next one is non-convertible preference shares. Shareholder cannot convert his preference shares into equity shares. When shareholder purchases preference shares, he has to continue as preference shareholder only. He cannot convert into equity shareholder. Now, if company's articles of association is silent, then preference shares are presumed as non-convertible preference shares. The next one is based on the participation. Preference shares are of two types: participating preference shares, non-participating preference shares. Let us see about this first point. Participating preference shares means what? Participating preference shareholders are allowed to participate in extra profits beyond their dividend or in extra assets at the time of winding up beyond their capital. Here 2 points you should know. Participate in extra profits, participate in extra assets. So participating preference share means they participate in the benefits of equity shareholders. Let us see the first one, participate in extra profits. For example, a public limited company issued 10,000 participating preference shares at the rate of 100 rupees each. Now, dividend percentage is 14. You know, preference shareholders dividend is prefixed. they are entitled to get 14% dividend every year. And company issued 50,000 equity shares at the rate of 10 rupees each. Then in 2018 year, company got a profit of 2 lakh rupees. Company board of directors declared a 12% dividend to equity shareholders for 2018 year. Now, how much dividend will be paid to participating preference shareholders? Their shares nominal value is 10,000 shares at the rate of 100 rupees each becomes 10 lakh rupees. On that, dividend percentage 14%. If you calculate, dividend becomes 1,40,000. And to equity shareholders, equity shares nominal value is 50,000 shares at the rate of 10 rupees each, 5 lakh rupees. At the rate of 12%, dividend becomes 60,000. Now, total dividend paid to shareholders in 2018 year is 2 lakh rupees. And available profit in 2018 is also 2 lakh rupees. So there is no extra profit. In this case, participating preference shareholders get only one dividend, that is 1,40,000 rupees. Suppose in next year 2019, company earned a profit of 4 lakh rupees. Comparing to 2018, for 2019 profit is more. So company declared 16% dividend to equity shareholders. In this case, how dividend will be paid to them? To participating preference shareholders, pre-fixed dividend they will get, that is 1,40,000, and in 2019 to equity shareholders, on face value company pays 16% dividend. Amount is 80,000. Now total dividend paid to shareholders in 2019 is 2,20,000. But available profit is 4 lakh rupees. So extra profit, nothing but surplus profit in 2019 is total profit minus dividend paid to shareholders is equal to 1,80,000. This 1,80,000 is known as extra profit. Now the rule is, in extra profit, participating preference shareholders can participate. Strictly speaking, this amount belongs to equity shareholders. You know how dividend will be paid to shareholders. From profit, first dividend will be paid to preference shareholders and remaining profit belongs to equity shareholders. But when participating preference shares are issued by the company, in this surplus profit along with equity shareholders, now preference shareholders also get some dividend. How much dividend they get? See here. Preference shareholders dividend percentage is 14%, and in 2019 equity shareholders dividend rate is 16. Now the difference is 2% now. Now in this surplus profit, preference shareholders get 2% dividend, that is 3,600 rupees. So in 2019 year, participating preference shareholders are getting two dividends. One dividend 1,40,000 and in surplus profit 1,80,000 they are getting extra dividend, that is 3,600. So the total dividend paid to participating preference shareholders in 2019 is 1,43,600 rupees. In surplus profit, when 3,600 is paid to participating preference shareholders, then the remaining surplus profit company transfers to reserve to meet future contingent expenses. Suppose company issued non-participating preference share. Then what happens? In 2018, non-participating preference shareholders get 1,40,000 dividend, equity shareholders take 60,000 dividend. In 2019, even though there is surplus profit, non-participating preference shareholders get 1,40,000 dividend only. They cannot participate along with the equity shareholders when equity shareholders are taking profits. So this surplus profit belongs to equity shareholders. Now let us see the second point, that is participating in extra assets. Suppose a company is incorporated in 2011. Company issued 4 crore worth participating preference shares, 14 crore worth equity shares, and the company has taken loans for 2 crore rupees. Total becomes 20 crore. Let us see this in percentage form. If 20 crore is assumed as 100%, then 4 crore is how much? So 100 divided by 20 into 4 is equal to 20%. So in 20 crore, 4 crore means it is 20% value. Similarly, equity shares in percentage form. If we see, then if 20 crore is assumed as 100%, 14 crore is how much? So 100 divided by 20 into 14, it will be 70. In total capital, equity shares in percentage form is 70. Then loans. It will become 10. Okay. So in total capital, 10% is in loan form, 70% is in equity share form, and 20% is in participating preference share form. Suppose company is liquidated in 2020 year and liquidator sold company assets for 30 crore. From the sale proceeds, first to whom company has to return the principal amount? To creditors. From creditors, company has taken 2 crore rupee loan. No. Now if that is paid to them, remaining amount is 28 crore. From that, company returns preference shareholders principal amount to them. Then the remaining amount is 24 crore. Last preference will be given to equity shareholders. No. So equity shareholders invested 14 crore, that will be paid to them. Then the remaining amount is 10 crore. These remaining sale proceeds are known as extra assets or surplus assets. As this is participating preference share, they participate along with the equity shareholders when equity shareholders are taking this surplus assets. Thus, participating preference shareholders get 20% in surplus assets because in total capital their investment is 20%. So 20% of 10 crore is 2 crore rupee. Now at the time of liquidation, participating preference shareholders are getting two amounts. They get their investment back. In addition to that, in surplus assets also, along with the equity shareholders, they get some amount. Suppose company issued non-participating preference shares. In this case, what happens? To non-participating preference shareholder, when company returns the principal amount, then the remaining sale proceeds belong to equity shareholders only. So here preference shareholder gets only one amount, that is 4 crore rupee. So this is all about participating and non-participating preference shares. If company's articles of association is silent, then preference shares are assumed as non-participating preference shares. Now let us see the other types of preference shares. First one is callable preference shares. In case of callable preference shares, company has the right to call in or redeem the preference shares at a preset price after a defined date. Means what? Let us see. Suppose on 1st March 2011, company issued callable preference shares for 5 years period. One share face value is 100 rupees. And as this is callable preference share, on share document company mentions the call period. Call period is 3 years. And company mentions redemption price also. So redemption price is 130 rupees. Issue date is 1/3 2011. From that date, if we count 5 years, then the due date of these preference shares is 1st March 2016. So on that day, company is supposed to redeem them. But as this is callable preference shares, call period starts from 1st March 2014 only. See, call period is 3 years. From issue date, when we count 3 years, then date falls on 1st March 2014. So during this period, company should not redeem the shares. But after 1st March 14, before 1st March 16, on any day, company has the right to call the preference shares. Means company can return the principal amount to them and company can stop paying the dividend to them. Now see the sentence, you will understand. Company has the right to call in or redeem, company can redeem the preference shares at a preset price. Here company issued shares at 100 rupee, and while issuing the shares, company clearly stated on the document that if we redeem before the redemption date, then we are going to pay 130 rupees per share. Here 130 rupees is known as preset price after a defined period. So the defined period is 1st March 2014. So after that period, on any day, company can redeem these shares at a 130 rupees each. This is also known as buyback of shares. Now next one is adjustable rate preference shares or variable rate preference shares. In case of these shares, what company does is, instead of fixing the dividend rate, company links dividend rate to a benchmark rate. What is the meaning of this sentence? Suppose in 2017 year, a public limited company issued 10,000 preference shares at the rate of 12% dividend per annum. Now face value of one share is 100 rupees. So nominal value of preference shares is 10,000 shares at the rate of 100, that is 10 lakh rupees. And dividend per annum will be 10 lakh rupee at the rate of 12% is 1,20,000. You know, in case of preference shares, dividend rate is prefixed now. So every year company is supposed to pay 1,20,000 dividend to preference shareholder. But in outside market, interest rate on loans is 10%. Means instead of depending on preference shares for this 10 lakh rupees, if company depends on loans, every year how much interest company has to pay? 10%. So 10% on 10 lakh rupee will be 1 lakh. Suppose you take 1 year 2020. In 2020, how much dividend company has to pay? 1,20,000 rupees to preference shareholders. But if company depends on loan, in 2020, if 1 lakh is paid to creditors in the form of interest, that is enough. So this 20,000 extra which company is paying to preference shareholders is known as interest rate risk. So if company doesn't want to take that risk, then instead of issuing ordinary preference shares where dividend is prefixed, company prefers to issue adjustable rate preference shares. In case of these shares, what happens is company doesn't fix any dividend rate while issuing preference shares. What company does is company links dividend rate to a benchmark rate. As a benchmark rate, company may consider treasury bill rate, MCLR, RBI repo rate. What is treasury bill rate? When government needs short-term loan from public, then government sells treasury bills through RBI, and to public government pays some interest. That interest rate is known as treasury bill rate. MCLR full form is marginal cost of funds based lending rate. Means what? This is the minimum rate at which commercial banks supposed to give loans to the public. Then RBI repo rate means what? If any commercial bank, SBI, Andhra Bank, etc., if they have some shortage of funds, if they want to take loan from RBI, then RBI charges some interest rate. The interest rate which is charged by central bank while giving loans to commercial banks is known as RBI repo rate. So any rate company may consider as benchmark rate. Then how company announces the dividend in case of adjustable rate preference shares? Dividend rate is, for example, 5% extra to SBI MCLR. Company announced dividend percentage in this form while issuing adjustable rate preference shares. Then what happens? How dividend will be paid to them? Let us see. In 2020, SBI MCLR rate is 7.45. Then in 2020, how much dividend will be paid to these people? Dividend is MCLR rate 7.45 plus company wants to pay 5% extra on MCLR. So 5%. Total becomes 12.45. So in 2020, to adjustable rate preference shareholders, company pays 12.45% of dividend on face value. So instead of SBI MCLR, company may take RBI repo rate also. Suppose while issuing these shares, company announced like this: dividend rate will be 5% extra to RBI repo rate. And in 2020, assume RBI repo rate is 5.15%. Then how much dividend will be paid to shareholders? Dividend will be 5.15% plus 5%, that is 10.15%. Thus, instead of fixing the dividend rate, dividend is linked with a benchmark rate. See the continuation. Thus, dividend on these shares is modified by the changes in benchmark rate. What is the meaning of this sentence? Let us see. In case of dividend on adjustable rate preference shares, company fixes collars. Collar means what? The maximum and minimum ceilings. Ceiling means limit. Maximum ceiling means what? More than that percentage, company should not pay dividend to these people. Minimum ceiling means what? Less than that percentage, company should not pay dividend to these shareholders. Now, maximum ceiling is known as caps and the minimum ceiling is known as floor. I'll give an example so you will get complete idea about these two words. For example, company fixed cap percentage as 11%. Means what? At any cost to adjustable rate preference shareholders, the dividend which is declared by the company should not be more than 11%. say dividend rate, how company declared dividend rate is 5% extra to SBI MCLR. In 2019, assume SBI MCLR is 5.5 percentage. Then how much dividend company pays to these people? 5.5 plus 5%, that is 10.5. Now maximum limit is 11 now. So 10.5 percentage dividend is below this rate. Then in 2019, company pays 10.5 percentage of dividend to the shareholders. Suppose in 2020, SBI MCLR is 7.45 percentage increased. Now actually speaking, how much dividend company should pay? MCLR rate 7.45% plus 5%, it is 12.45%. But maximum limit is 11% only. So instead of paying 12.45%, in 2020 year, company pays 11% of dividend to these shareholders. Similarly, come to floor. Suppose company declared 8% as floor limit and the dividend is dividend rate 3% extra to SBI MCLR. Company fixed like that. In 2019, assume that SBI MCLR is 6.5%. Then dividend will be 6.5% plus 3% is equal 9.5%. Now minimum limit is 8% now. So this 9.5 is more than 8%. Then company declares 9.5% as dividend to the shareholders. In 2020, assume that MCLR rate is decreased 4.75%. Now actually speaking, how much dividend company is supposed to pay? Dividend is MCLR rate 4.75 plus 3%, it will become 7.75. But 7.75 is less than floor limit, no? 8% no? Then instead of paying 7.75%, company declares 8% as a dividend in 2020. Now observe this sentence, you will understand. Thus, dividend on these shares is modified. Modified means what? Adjusted, changed. That is why these shares are known as adjusted rate preference shares or variable rate preference shares. Variable means what? Fluctuative. So the dividend rate on these shares is not fixed. It fluctuates according to the changes in the benchmark rate. Generally, preference shareholders like floor rate and they dislike cap rate. Now let us see to whom preference shares are suitable. Suppose a public limited company wants to issue preference shares for its capital requirement. One share face value is fixed by the company as 100 rupees. Those who prefer to receive regular and stable income, these people regularly invest their money in preference shares. Who are they? Financial institutions, suppose commercial banks, insurance companies, IDBI, IFCI, etc. Company promoters, company managing director. And rarely company sells preference shares to retail investors. Retail investors means who? Common people like you and me. If company is selling preference shares to retail investors, that market is known as primary market. Company fixed 100 rupees as face value of one share now. So at the rate of 100 rupees each, company sells these shares to retail investors. Suppose one investor wants to sell his preference share to another investor. Then through a mediator, through a stock exchange, he is supposed to sell these shares to others. For that sake, company has to list its shares in stock exchange. In India, national level stock exchanges are two: National Stock Exchange, Bombay Stock Exchange. If company wants to list its preference shares in NSE, then company has to list under P1 series. Suppose company wants to list them in BSE, then under 7 series company has to list them. Why common people don't prefer preference shares? When company sells shares to public in primary market, the rate at which company is selling shares to them is known as face value or par value. But when one investor wants to sell the securities to other investor through stock exchange, the rate at which he is selling is known as market price. Market price is not a fixed price. It is highly fluctuating. Market price depends on the company's performance. If company is earning more and more profits, if company is paying more and more dividends to shareholders, then market price increases. And if company's performance is not up to the mark, then market price of that company share decreases. But you know very well, in case of preference shares, dividend rate is prefixed. When same amount of dividend company is going to pay to shareholder, even though company gets more profits, no use. Market price of preference share doesn't increase. A common man doesn't prefer to invest in preference share because regular dividend he gets, and at what rate he purchase the share in primary market. When he wants to sell it to other investor, at the same rate he is supposed to sell. So there is no profit to him. Instead of investing his money in a private company by purchasing preference shares, he prefers to invest in a bank because there is some security. So common man prefers to invest his money in equity shares, because in case of equity share, dividend percentage depends on the profitability, company performance. If company is paying more and more dividends, company share market price increases. Suppose one investor purchased one equity share at the rate of 10 rupees each in primary market from the company. When market price of this share becomes 300 rupees, if he sells these shares to other investor, on one share he is getting a profit of 290 rupees. So a person who wants to take risk, who wants to earn more and more income, they only prefer to invest in stock market. And where there is a chance of earning more income? In case of equity shares, not in preference shares. So remember, generally company sells preference shares to financial institutions, and rarely preference shares are purchased by retail investors. Why financial institutions are interested in preference shares? Because they need safety for their investment. So every year they get regular dividends, and after the redemption period they get back their principal amount. So this is all about preference shares.